Welcome back to TAINA Tips. Today we wanted to pick up on something that's very timely. The IRS has just reminded everyone that responsible officer certifications are due by July 1, 2026.
And this is one of those deadlines that feels a bit different, right? It's not just a filing, it's a whole certification.
Exactly. This is where someone senior in the organization is effectively signing off and saying, we are comfortable that our FATCA controls are working as they should.
Right? So it's less about producing data and more about standing behind the processes that created it.
Exactly. And that's where we tend to see pressure points, because when you get to that point of certification, the question becomes, how confident are you in the data and how easily can you prove it?
And I imagine this is where things like audit trails really start to matter.
They do. And if you think about it, a responsible officer isn't re-performing every control. They're relying on evidence. So you need to be able to show that forms were validated, that changes were tracked, that exceptions were handled, and that nothing has fallen through the cracks.
So if that evidence isn't sitting across emails, spreadsheets, and all sorts of different systems, it becomes quite hard to pull together.
That's the challenge we hear a lot. It's not necessarily that firms aren't doing the right things, it's that they can't easily demonstrate that they've done them in a consistent and controlled way.
So, how do you think firms should be thinking about this as they approach this July deadline?
For me, there are two key questions. First, can you evidence your controls clearly and quickly if asked? And second, do you have a full audit trail from onboarding through to reporting?
Sure. So if either of those answers are not easily, that's where risk starts to creep in, right?
Exactly. And that's where solutions like TAINA come in. By validating data at the point of capture and maintaining a full audit trail, you're not scrambling at certification time. The evidence is already there.
So instead of building a narrative at the end, you've effectively been creating it all along,
That's a good way of putting it. Certification becomes much more of a confirmation than an investigation.
which is probably where most firms want to be.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just a deadline, it's a moment of accountability. And having that transparency and auditability in place makes a real difference.
Makes sense. Thanks, Kier.
Thanks, Sean, and thanks everyone for listening.